My process is an ideation process. So the goal here is to help you tap into your own unique voice, your own soul, your own perspective. It's a process for uncovering your unique voice and generating fresh ideas and evolving your unique artistic vision. It incorporates the why to the how, and therefore the idea comes out from there. It's a process for asking better questions, exploring your unique point of view, and creating artwork that truly resonates with your soul, creating a roadmap for where and how to explore. It's about connecting your heart to your head. My process bridges the two sides of the brain, creating a holistic approach to art making, allowing you to create art that is both technically sound and deeply meaningful for your authentic point of view. So what I'm going to share with you today got me from here in those early days to here. But what you're actually seeing here is you are seeing clarity and a deeper understanding that I have of myself through this process. So this process enabled that for me. In case you don't know who I am Michele Luminato. Even though I loved painting, I felt really scattered and disconnected from my own artwork. After 3 years of struggling, I realized I had to do something big or it just wasn't going to work out. I would never be satisfied with my artwork. I would never be proud of my artwork, and I would really never get momentum selling my artwork as well. My process isn't about imposing a style or dictating specific techniques at all. It's about providing you with a structured approach to discover your own. Let's get into the 5-step inspiration to creation process in more detail. This is about developing a personalized system for consistent creative expression. I want to stress this. The step 1 is you have to customize the process. It starts with you. Your process is never the same as anyone else's because you are one of 8 billion people. Step 2 is that authentic core, connecting your authentic core, meaning who are you, what are you all about, and that desired feeling and vibe. Without that piece, you are literally missing yourself in the art. Step 3 is using images, powerful images, as a mirror to discover your authentic voice. Without this, it's very hard to have authentic inspiration that is actually meaningful. Step 4 is the expression studio, where you're really testing ideas that reflect your unique voice and vision. And without testing the ideas, you will repeat yourself. You won't have room for new ideas or fresh ideas. And step 5, which I call the clarity studio, that's where you're really creating that finished artwork that reflects your unique voice and having clarity because you've come through a process that gives you very specific ideas and you pick those best ideas. And when you come out of that, like I showed you in the input, discovery, output, you're really having new skills, you have a refined vision, you repeat that process with fresh eyes, and you're actually going to improve your skills again at the same time. So let's get into the input. The authentic core piece, which is that step 2. Now that you know it's a customized system, now we're going to get into, well, what are you all about? This step 2, I don't see a lot of artists doing this. This is a super valuable missing piece, connecting with your authentic core and that desired feeling. And without this, you are missing your point of view and your artwork can't be true, and you really can't stay true as you evolve as an artist. But the problem with this unique input is that we're often too close to ourselves to see how unique this point of view is. It's like a fish swimming in a fishbowl. You're just too close. You can't get out to see from the outside. Your essence and unique personality comes through your art, or it doesn't. So if you're too close to see this for yourself, which I see in the artists that I help, this process that I'm talking about really allows for you to see and have an aha moment for yourself so that you can really benefit and use that as a strength and use your unique voice as your superpower. So I want to do a quick check-in with you. I want to ask you a question. This is an actual question I ask everyone I work with all the time. What's the feeling you want to express in your art? Or said another way, what's the vibe? What's your essence? And if you don't know the answer to this, it's going to be really hard to find that unique voice. This emotional essence has to come through in your art for you to really have a unique point of view. And as an abstract artist, this is essential because we are literally expressing with emotions. We are not relying on places, people, or things. And then step 3 is part of the input process, but this is really different than what I see a lot of artists doing. This is learning how you see, using the visual mirror technique, using images to mirror and to discover your authentic voice. This isn't about just collecting pretty pictures. It's a scientific self-discovery process, understanding why an image and inspiration resonates with you. This is so important to inspiration because this is going to really reveal a lot more information. But you might be saying, well, I'm already intuitive, Michele. Why do I need images? I do hear that a lot. Your conscious mind forgets 90% of the visual experiences it has. And without intentionally collecting inspiration, you're working from a tiny fraction of your visual memory. And pure intuition alone often becomes repetitive, and it's basically the same limited well of inspiration. So the truth is, intentional visual gathering feeds your intuition, it doesn't replace it. And what feels ordinary for you actually becomes your superpower because you're learning how you see. Let's get into the discovery phase of the inspiration and creation process, which is learning how you see. I want to share a secret about creativity. It's about following a process. This is just how all great ideas are born, and it's a proven framework for innovation. So let's look at how that translates into art. I call this the expression studio. I like to look through the lens of discovering great ideas by testing ideas that reflect your unique voice and vision, because you've already figured out who you are. You've already figured out your most authentic inspiration. And so when you're looking at that and referring to that input as a jumping off point, you can really start learning how to see how you see through testing ideas, expressing that emotional essence. What is it that you want to express? What's the feeling? What's the vibe? And really doing tests that really help you discover what that looks like. Again, this process allows you to learn to see how you see. And because we are all prisms with so many sides, we're not one-sided. There are so many qualities to us. If you hide parts of you and suppress your whole self, you make artwork that feels out of integrity. And this is why I think a lot of artists feel disconnected from their artwork. And they really feel that joy that they're looking for is so elusive. So how do we discover multiple sides of ourselves as artists? Let's look at one of the most influential art movements in history, the Bauhaus. This legendary school, which influenced almost all of modern design, started with studies. The studies, this discovery, was a mandatory first step in creation through the art school. It was designed to break down students' preconceived notions. It was pure experimentation. And so what does that mean to us in the studio? If we try to solve everything at once, we don't really get to ask ourselves quality questions. So I believe the expression studio is all about getting better quality answers by isolating ideas, by getting really specific into one quality at a time. What's that feeling, that exact feeling, and what does that look like? What does the expression look like? Now, if you're trying to do all of this at once, it's very hard to really innovate and get some really great fresh ideas. We need to test something very specific that gives you a unique, isolated experience so that you can see differently, learning how you see through that unique lens of input you've already put in. That's really what the Expression Studio is all about. So I wanted to give you some examples of my work and my expression studio. This is about testing ideas that started to feel like me more over the years. On the left are early examples of me testing ideas. often testing all of it at once, which was not as useful as I started getting into more specific tests. And once I started working with this regularly, my artwork just evolved naturally over time because I was testing ideas related to my deepening understanding of myself. So again, this is what I'm talking about, where you're developing a personalized system for consistent creative expression. I've worked with lots of artists over the years, but unique technique and style is born from this. Because you're testing ideas, every artist's tests are different, and that's why there's a lot of unique discovery that can happen in that. Discovering something unique along the way because you're testing your unique vision. No one is the same. Your tests and studies should be very different from mine, and one of the things I'm most proud of is that all the artists I help, none of them look like me. No one is painting like me. They have discovered their own process that is unique to them and really has a very specific language that they've discovered along the way. And let's look at why isolating ideas is so important. So you might be asking, well, what kind of ideas do I test? And my answer to you is, well, it depends on who you are and what's relevant for you. Isolating ideas become super important when you start really uncovering your unique voice. And so that's what I'm talking about when you're really studying ideas and testing ideas. That is your unique perspective, and it's so important to figure out what matters to you and what you're all about, and why isolating problems and ideas can be really, really useful. So the Clarity Studio. In the Clarity Studio, this is where the output begins. You're taking your best ideas, you're doing more of them to scale in quantity and size, and that's where you start finishing artwork that reflects that unique point of view because you've discovered something along the way. You're always asking, what's missing? And you're identifying where you're stuck so that you can finally finish artwork that you're proud of. This is super powerful. You don't have to start over. You literally already know what's missing. I'll give you some examples of my early Clarity Studio experiences. Through that process, going through the Clarity Studio, I was able to do more studies testing new ideas. I took my best ideas, and those ideas created finished artwork that reflected my unique voice and something that I could be really proud of. Here's another example. And as I did those studies, an evolution of that, what do I want to do now? And so I started doing tests and studies. And so I took my best ideas and started doing more of them in scale and quantity. And this can be especially helpful when you're working in a collection or a series and you're selling your artwork, because again, it allows you to evolve your artwork in a way that seems like a real natural evolution for you by just asking, what is missing? What's the next thing that I can do? So let's just recap, because I know I went through a lot of information. The solution here is to have a reliable process that reveals you for consistent creative expression. The first level of that is input, connecting with your authentic core. Who are you? What are you about? What's that input? And then level 2 of that is the discovery, where you're testing ideas, you're reflecting on that unique voice and vision, and you're really discovering something new. And then level 3 is you're creating finished artwork that reflects your unique voice because you've done the work and you've identified your best ideas. And this allows you to have a whole new level of skills by the time you've output that final outcome to refine your vision. And when you repeat this with fresh eyes, that's why you can evolve your artwork and you can improve the quality at the same time. This has changed the game for me completely. So just to recap those 5 steps specifically, customizing your process, it starts with you. Your process is never going to be the same as anyone else's because you are 1 in a billion. You are not the same person as everyone else. Step 2 is the authentic core, connecting with your authentic core. What are you about? Whatever you have inside of you, I assure you, it is worthy of showing people. There's nothing you need to hold back from people. But if you don't have step 3, which is beyond just collecting other artists for your inspiration, you're using images as a mirror to discover your authentic voice. And then when you get to step 4, which is the expression studio, you're testing ideas that reflect that unique vision, and therefore you will discover some of your best ideas that only you can make, because you're going through that process of isolating ideas based on your unique point of view. And then when you get to step 5, which is the clarity studio, you're creating finished artwork that reflects your unique voice, because you're literally able to say, what is missing? What can I do? Which ideas are the best? And you're literally plucking your best ideas and you're pursuing that. And you can see clarity because you have better quality questions to ask. And therefore you can finish work that you're actually proud of. And when you get to the end of that, you have a refined vision. You're able to repeat that with fresh eyes, and you can actually improve your skills at the same time. So this 5-step inspiration and creation process is about developing a personalized system for consistent creative expression. I'm not sure why you showed up today. You may be frustrated that you've had unfinished paintings. Maybe something feels missing or off from your process or from your art. It could be that you've been doom scrolling and you're just not sure where to start with the blank canvas or know what your thing is. Making artwork that you absolutely love changes the game for you as an artist forever. And I believe that if you've been on this up to this point, you have what it takes to excel in your art, because you actually care about getting it to a place that you can be proud of. Remember, nothing I've shared with you today is theory or fluff that might work. It absolutely works. This is exactly what I've done in my art practice for the last 8 years, and I've helped hundreds of artists discover their voice through this process over the last 5 years, and I've spent a ton of time refining this process for quicker results. I'm obsessed with giving myself and other artists the quickest results as possible. It's all about what those next steps are, right where you're at, and being able to take action on it if you really want to do something about it.